You know they're bad for you, yet you can't stop thinking about them. It doesn't matter how many times your friends tell you to move on, or how many red flags you've seen with your own eyes. You're stuck. Your heart keeps pulling you back, like a magnet you can't fight against. Why does love feel like this sometimes? Why are we so drawn to people who hurt us? And why does it feel impossible to walk away? Imagine this. You're lying awake at 2 a.m., replaying every word they said, even though deep down you know they're not good for you. They make you cry, they make you doubt yourself, but the moment they text you, "I miss you," it's like all that pain vanishes and you're pulled right back in. It feels like an addiction you can't quit, right? Like you're caught in a loop where the highs feel incredible, but the lows are soul-crushing, and somehow you can't stop riding the roller coaster. Here's the truth. Your brain is wired in ways you probably don't even realize. There are powerful psychological forces at play that make toxic relationships feel irresistible, even when you know they're destroying your peace of mind. And in the next few minutes, I'm going to show you exactly what's happening inside your mind and your heart, and why it keeps happening over and over again. But there's something even more important. Once you understand this, you can finally break free. You can stop falling for people who are bad for you and start attracting love that feels safe, healthy, and real. So stay with me until the end of this video, because what you're about to learn could change the way you see love forever. So, why do we fall for people who are bad for us? If love is supposed to make us feel safe and happy, why do we sometimes chase people who make us anxious, uncertain, and heartbroken? It's not that we consciously choose pain, it's that our brains are wired to confuse it with love. One of the biggest reasons is familiarity. We are naturally drawn to what feels familiar, even if it isn't healthy. If you grew up around inconsistent love, attention that came and went, affection mixed with fear or rejection, your brain learned to associate unpredictability with intimacy. So, when someone gives you that same roller coaster of emotions as an adult, it feels like chemistry, but really it's just a pattern you already know. We mistake anxiety for excitement because it mirrors what love once felt like. Another powerful factor is what psychologists call intermittent reinforcement. Think of it like a slot machine. You don't get the reward every time, but when you do, it feels incredible. Toxic partners often do this. They shower you with affection one moment, then pull away the next. Your brain becomes hooked on chasing those highs, desperate for that next hit of love. The unpredictability tricks your nervous system into believing this is passion, when in reality, it's just emotional gambling that keeps you stuck. There's also a deep subconscious pull rooted in unresolved wounds. Sometimes, without realizing it, we're trying to fix the love we didn't get in the past. We chase people who remind us of old pain, hoping that if this time they finally choose us, we'll heal the original hurt. But that almost never works. Instead, it keeps the cycle alive, leaving us feeling more broken each time, but still convinced the next attempt might finally work. And here's the kicker. These psychological forces are so powerful that red flags don't even register as danger. In fact, the chaos feels exciting, the drama feels passionate, and stability can seem boring because your brain has been wired to think love equals pain. This is why toxic people can feel magnetic. It's not your heart lying to you. It's your past experiences in biology pulling the strings, making dysfunction feel like home, even when you know you deserve better. So now we know why we fall for toxic people. But here's the real struggle. Why is it so hard to leave? Why do we stay in relationships that we know are bad for us, even when every logical part of our brain is screaming run? One of the biggest reasons is what psychologists call emotional addiction. Toxic relationships create a powerful cycle of highs and lows, moments of intense connection followed by conflict, pain, or silence. This roller coaster triggers chemicals in your brain, mainly dopamine and cortisol. Dopamine makes you crave the highs of love bombing, sweet words, and rare moments of affection. Cortisol spikes during fights, jealousy, or rejection. The cycle keeps you hooked, because the pain actually makes the pleasure feel stronger. It's the same mechanism that keeps gamblers at a slot machine. They're not getting rewarded every time, but the unpredictability keeps them chasing the win, even as they're losing more than they gain. Then there's fear. Fear of loss, fear of loneliness, fear of starting over. The brain interprets losing a bond, even a toxic one, as a survival threat. Humans are wired to seek connection above almost everything else. So even when your mind knows this person isn't good for you, your biology is screaming, don't let them go. We need them to survive. And when you imagine a life without them, the emptiness feels unbearable. even if the reality with them is constant pain. Another thing that keeps us stuck is hope, the belief that they'll change, that this time it will be different. We hold on to the good memories, convincing ourselves that the version of them we love will come back if we just love them harder, try a little more, or become enough for them to stay. But this is an illusion. Hope can be beautiful, but in toxic relationships it becomes a trap, a reason to ignore reality and keep suffering. Sometimes we also stay because leaving means facing uncomfortable truths. Maybe we have patterns to heal. Maybe we've tied our self-worth to their approval. Maybe walking away would force us to confront the pain we've been avoiding for years. So we stay, not because it's love, but because it feels safer than facing the unknown. And the hardest part, every time we try to leave, the bond feels even stronger. Your brain goes through withdrawal like it's addicted to a drug. You miss them, you crave their attention, you second-guess everything. And just when you think you're strong enough to let go, one message, one call, one "I miss you" drags you right back. Breaking free feels impossible because your mind is fighting a battle between logic, biology, and old wounds, and biology often wins. Knowing why we fall for toxic people and why it's so hard to leave is only part of the battle. The real question is, how do you break free and finally heal? How do you rewire your brain to stop craving the very thing that hurts you? Knowing why we fall for toxic people and why it's so hard to leave is only part of the battle. The real question is, how do you break free and finally heal? How do you rewire your brain to stop craving the very thing that hurts you? The first step is awareness. You can't change what you don't acknowledge. Start by recognizing the patterns, the push and pull, the anxiety disguised as passion, the way you're drawn to inconsistency because it feels familiar. Write it down, say it out loud, bring it into the light. Awareness breaks the illusion that this is love. It's not love, it's a cycle, and cycles can be broken. The next step is distance. And this is the hardest part, because emotional bonds feel like an addiction. Going no contact or creating space feels like ripping out a part of yourself. But distance is where clarity lives. Without constant exposure to their highs and lows, your brain starts to recalibrate. The chemical addiction begins to fade, but only if you stop feeding it. This means blocking, muting, removing the temptation to just check in. Every interaction is another hit of the drug, and you can't heal while you're still hooked. Yes, it feels brutal at first, but every minute of silence is a step closer to freedom. The third step is to shift the focus back to you. Toxic relationships often leave us feeling unworthy, like the problem was us. Healing means unlearning that lie. Start rebuilding your sense of self-worth, not based on someone else's approval, but on your own value. Therapy, journaling, surrounding yourself with supportive people, these are not cliches, they're lifelines. The stronger your self-love becomes, the less tolerance you'll have for love that feels like pain. Self-worth is the shield that protects you from being pulled back into what hurts you. Finally, you have to rewire what love means in your brain. Healthy love can feel strange or even boring at first because chaos has been your normal. Learn to recognize that real love is not adrenaline and anxiety. It's safety, respect, and consistency. It doesn't leave you questioning your worth. It shows up, it's steady, and it feels like home without the storm. Breaking free isn't easy. You will crave them, you will doubt yourself, you might even relapse and go back once or twice. But every time you choose yourself over their chaos, you are teaching your brain a new story about love, one where pain isn't the price of connection. Healing doesn't happen overnight, but one day you'll wake up and realize you haven't thought about them in weeks. And that moment, the moment you finally feel free, will be worth every battle it took to get there. So here's the truth. We don't fall for toxic people because we're weak or broken. We fall because our brains confuse chaos for love, because old wounds make unhealthy bonds feel familiar, and because hope and fear keep us tied to what hurts us. But just because we've been caught in this cycle doesn't mean we have to stay there. Healing starts with awareness, with choosing distance, with rebuilding your self-worth until love feels like safety, not pain. It's about teaching your heart and mind that you deserve a love that doesn't cost you your peace. And yes, it's hard, but every boundary you set, every step you take away from what hurts you is a step toward freedom and the kind of connection you truly deserve. If this video resonated with you, know that you're not alone, and your story doesn't have to end with heartbreak. Drop a comment and share your experience. It might help someone else feel less alone. And if you're ready to keep growing, healing, and learning about real, healthy love, Make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the bell because the next video might just be the one that changes your life.